He might not be from Krypton, but he's heads above the rest. His knowledge can't be questioned. You can put it to the test. So if you want to hear the truth and have nowhere else to go, I'll give you the solution. Just tune into his show and just kneel before Zod. Kneel before Zod. Kneel before Zod. Kneel before Zod.
And welcome back, everybody, to the Fandom Zone. It is the most earth-breaking, ground-shaking, but never media show money-taking. The man, the myth, the legend, the most electrifying villain in all of YouTube entertainment today, Mr. Zod. And tonight is a special night because I compiled the top 10 movies, in my opinion, of 2021. And to be perfectly honest, it wasn't fucking hard. Wasn't all hard at all. As far as I'm concerned, this is probably actually my top 10 worst movies are going to be the hardest. I'm going to do a separate video on those. There are so many of the worst movies. Lemon Pie, there's a high probability there will be a Nick Cage movie in there somewhere. But here's the sad part. Nick Cage did produce good movies this year. I mean, when you produce a good movie, you produce a good movie. I mean, what am I gonna say? So in case you guys don't know how my top 10 list works, the first 5 films that I picked are my own personal picks. They've got good things about them, but they might not be widely known, or maybe there's a few people who like them, few people who don't. It's very subjective picks. My final 5 picks are movies that are critical, commercial, fan, and just commonly liked by a wide majority of people. Movies that I feel that connect to the most audience. And what I mean by that is I go by box office metrics, how well they did, because that can tell us what was the drop off like within the weeks. Did it gain traction? Was there word of mouth? Did it have a strong showing? What was the end total? Things like that. And I'm going to give a brief summary of my reasons of why that they're there. I also have quite a few honorable mentions that did not make my top 10, but were damn close. There were even movies within my top 10s where the spots flipped and flopped right up until this point. Like literally before I got on, this is my list right here. Before I got on, of like, oh my God, no, maybe this should be like number 3. This should be number 4. It was quite tough. So yeah, Proper, it's good to see you too. Jesus Christ. So anyways, this is gonna be my top 10 list. Everything is subjective. These are just my picks. You don't have to like them if you don't like them. What is your list? And most of all, throughout the night, I want you guys to think, what movie do you think I put at number 1? Now, if you've been on my channel, you've heard me not just pick one film, but there have been quite a few films that I've toted about a lot. So I want you guys to think which film made my number 1 of 2021. So before we get started, I'm going to mention some of my honorable mentions that I thought were good, but they weren't good enough as far as film quality. Maybe they just had a few things too many wrong with them that they just didn't make the cut for my list. So my honorable mentions are quite a few, so bear with me. I have Mortal Kombat. That didn't make it for obvious reasons. It was highly subjective. I personally enjoyed it, but I didn't think it was good enough to make a list of any kind. It just had too many problems to really get in there, but I enjoyed it. And I think it was a fun movie for people to enjoy. Mindless fun. Wrath of Man. If you guys don't know, very low key Jason Statham movie called The Wrath of Man was very good. It had a very great plot twist. I just felt it didn't have a lot of the film production quality, or the story wasn't quite there for it to be a strong contender. It almost made my list several times, but it just there was just something that fell a little bit short. Mainstream. If you guys don't know, a new Andrew Garfield movie, Mainstream, which was actually really, really, really good. Didn't get a lot of buzz, but it talks a lot about social media. And if you guys got a chance, go check it out. Army of the Dead. That would have been a personal pick because I'm a Zack Snyder fan. So I recognize that I think that I'm going to leave that off of my list. Justice League. I know you guys are shocked. I don't know how the fuck Justice League gets on everybody's top 10 list. It was number 1 on Jeremy John's list. And look, I respect him, but I do not fucking think that out of every movie in 2021, the fucking Justice League should be number 1 on a list. Is it good? Yes. Could it make it? Yes, but it's not going to be. When I think of a great movie, I do go, oh yeah, Zack Snyder's fucking 4-hour epic. I think that's more personal preference. And before I go any further, let me welcome Carmen. How are you? Lemon Pie, I said, hey, KH, good to see you. Of course, the most proper, Justin Proper, we have Lonely Banter, LB, Laura B, how are you? Jenny Godden, how are you doing? So that did not make it to Tomorrow War. I did not include the Tomorrow War in some of these Netflix movies because I wanted to go by box office because I think that speaks to how much a movie connected. Anybody can turn on Netflix and Amazon and catch a movie. We don't have good metrics for those numbers, so I can't accurately judge how well a movie on Amazon or Netflix does. Only by word of mouth and numbers that they give you. And half the time, those aren't good metrics. So, Till Death was very close to making it on my list. Megan Fox did a extraordinary job, but it just was missing something. I can't quite put my finger on it, but it just was very, very narrowly made it on my list. Old was very good, but the ending, I think because of the ending, it didn't make it on this list. And if you guys haven't seen it, it's definitely worth a watch. But the end of the film was kind of predictable. And so I just the Suicide Squad, once again, very close to making it on my list. But I just felt like when I did this list, it was some pretty quality films. And I felt like Suicide Squad was a good redemption, good R-rated, what it should have been. But I felt like that was the first movie and not the shit movie that we got. So I didn't include it on this list. Shang-Chi and the 10 Rings, this close. I thought that was the best Marvel film. And I'm not saying Spider-Man because that's Marvel Sony. The best Marvel film that I seen, in my opinion, was Shang-Chi, but it doesn't make it on this list because the Marvel movies aren't at the caliber they were last year or the year before. I'm sorry. People can fight with me. They all feel very lazy, kind of generic these days. Black Widow is on my top 10 worst list, but I'll get to that in my next stream. Cop Shop. If you guys haven't seen it, there is a movie called I knew you'd appreciate that. And of course, Proper. Yeah, those weren't making it on my top 10. No, I'm not going to have that bullshit Shang-Chi and all this. No, I'm going with movies that are understated or popular and they have a good reason to be on there. I don't want those gimmicky. Malignant was close. Malignant was close because I found it a very entertaining horror movie. It brought me back to the B movie days, but when I compared it to the other movies I put on this list, it just kind of wasn't on the level that I wanted it to be at. So that's a good honorable mention. Prisoners of the Ghostland. I don't want people to think I rigged this just for Nick Cage, so I unfortunately left this one out. It was very close, but it is a very art house film. And actually, funny story, under my honorable mentions is Cruella, but it is not on my top 10 list. I felt once again a rehash should not make the top 10 movies of 2021. So most Disney movies aren't on there. Antlers was very close. Black Friday with Bruce Campbell. But Black Friday was a very B movie, so that didn't make it on my list either. And Nightmare Alley. Nightmare Alley is an honorable mention. If you haven't seen it, Nightmare Alley is a great movie. The only reason why it didn't make my list is because it was kind of close by the time I made my picks. So I hadn't seen it until just about I was going to do this. So I didn't really want to edge it out over something. But it was worth mentioning. And Don't Look Up. Don't Look Up was a fabulous movie, very well done. A great political satire. I don't like very many of them, but if you haven't seen it, check out Don't Look Up. So those are my honorable mentions. So here we go. For my number 10, these first 5 films, remember, they are my personal picks. My top or my first 5 make up my own personal preference, but I put it on this list because out of every movie I've seen, they're really good. So here we go. Number 10 on my list of my top 10 is Willy's Wonderland. Willy's Wonderland was a fantastic film. I feel like it's the best version of Five Nights of Freddy's that we were ever going to get. It was cool to see them do in cinema a silent protagonist. They haven't done a lot of that, and I really appreciate the physical comedy that Nick Cage does. I thought the puppet work was very cheesy and very much so, and it looked like everybody had fun doing the movie. I thought it was a very, very good movie. I've watched it several times. I actually brought it. Nick had a lot of fun, and like I said, you don't see a lot of body comedy much anymore. His mannerisms, the grunts, the shit he had with the back and forth with his co-stars, when he had his break and he gave the girl a knife and then he went and played some pinball. I thought it was very, very hilarious. Yeah, it was pretty funny. He said, I don't know what the fuck that is, but I fucking hate FNAF. No, go check it out. Willy's Wonderland is hilarious. A lot of satire, kind of a B movie kind of feel to it. I loved it. So my number 9 movie, number 9 on my top 10 is A Quiet Place 2. I thought that the opening scene alone made this movie really, really good. The shot of seeing the town, and Cillian Murphy is tremendous. Now, the reason why it's not lower on this list is because while I thought it was good, there were a lot of things rehashed that had already been covered in the first movie. And I thought some of the scenarios at the end of the movie weren't set up very well. No, it did not come out last year proper. Jesus, look up your movies. But I did not find that it had a lot to really bring it up to like my lower spots. It was very well done for a sequel. And I haven't seen a lot of sequels that they do that are comparable follow-ups. Okay, I've got to argue with Proper for a second. He said, yes, did. Quiet Place 2 did not come out last year. Okay, Quiet. I like proving Justin wrong when I can. Okay, so Quiet Place 2 was made in or released May 28th, 2021 proper. So thank you. Anyways, so I have it at my number 9. I thought it was very good. I did not think though that it should be lower on this list. I think the movies that I put, they had a little bit more substance. They weren't a sequel. Hello, TLB 2.0. You didn't see it in 2021. I have the date. The release date is literally May 28th of this year. Gosh, has it been that long? Anyways, so it was pretty good. I liked it. Now, I did not give Justin Proper my list, but number eight on my list is Halloween Kills. I got so much shit for my review, and I believe that people unnecessarily bitched about this movie. I thought it did exactly what it promised. Michael Myers killed a lot of people. I like the themes of a town being terrorized and the reaction of people to to panic. Like, what is it? What has Michael Myers done to the psychology of this town? He's literally instilled fear, and I like that aspect. The reason why it's not higher on my list is because I don't think that they kept up with a lot of the storylines that they should have. They didn't really explore much into the side characters, and I thought that was a waste. And I think that the long drawn out flashbacks kind of really hurt the film. I did not like some of the flashback scenes. I thought they slowed the movie down. And if it didn't have those things, it would have been higher on this list. But honestly, I thought it was a great time. It was one of the better horror movies to come out this year because horror has not had that many great horror movies. So I was greatly satisfied with that. I changed my mind on Halloween's Kills. I saw it on a big screen. Aside from the mental patient subplot, I loved it. Yeah, I agree. It was really good. Top 10 movies: Spider-Man, No Way Home, No Way Home, No Way Home, No Way Home. Yeah, no. Uh, yeah. It was released. Yes, that was true. It was released 2021, but it still made it in this year, so I counted A Quiet Place. Anyways, so Halloween Kills is my number 8. I thought it was decent. That's kind of like my reason for it being on the list. My number 7 is Dune. Dune is a fantastically visually stunning movie. Josh Brolin does a great job. Veneer do whatever the hell. It's a French name, I'm sorry, but he makes great films. I thought the atmosphere was very interesting. I thought that I've read the books. I thought that they really tackled the material with respect. They cut out the things that they really didn't need. The reason why I didn't rate Doom higher, and Justin very rudely said it, it isn't the full movie. And I think part 1 is good, but I think part 1 wrapped up too abruptly. And this really affects why it's not higher on this list. I know people have it at like number 5 and number 4, but it really shouldn't be that high up. It's not even a complete film, but what we got I thought was great acting. I thought they did the sandworm very well. Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Geekos. I thought they did the sand seed very well. Hey, T Virus, good to see you. Yes, I'm going over my top 10 films. So far, number 10, Willy's Wonderland. Number 9, A Quiet Place 2. Number 8, Halloween Kills. Number 7 is Dune. Very good. I think that this movie is an example of when you get a director who has such a great artistic vision for their films, and they know the material well, and they've got an eye for adapting book material. You get a movie like Dune, and I got high hopes for part 2. It's already been greenlit, and I really want to see where their where the movie goes. Thank you, Terrence. Thank you. So my number 6. This is the last of my personal picks before we get into the top 5. And if you guys know my channel, you should know I love John Wick. So you should have known this movie was going to be on there. My number 6 movie. And it was a hair close, except for the fact that my top 5 are slightly better. But my number 6 film on this list is Nobody. Nobody is a fucking great action film. It got unfair comparisons to John Wick, and Nobody gave me a feel of an everyday guy who you see like does his lawn and his taxes, and he's very unassuming, and just it was hilarious. It was action packed. The scenes were more visceral, more brutal because of the fact of him being out of the CIA for so long. And when you get those brutal fight scenes, I thought it was very well done. Thank you, cousin Polly. I appreciate the Happy New Year. Nobody to me is a great take on the John Wick formula that does its own thing. Bob Odenkirk, it has a great sense of timing. He has a great flair for action, which if you watch Better Call Saul, it's kind of funny seeing him do action scenes, and he's so good at it. I thought it was a very well-paced movie. I never got bored, and I really enjoyed it. So that is why Nobody made my personal top 5. I thought it was very good, and it almost cracked. It almost cracked my top 5, but there were just some movies that were slightly above it. So, hello, Jason Lee Tucker statement. Great to have you on. I'm going through my top list. So let's go over my top picks real quick for everybody who just jumped in. These were my top personal picks. My top 5 is a little bit more targeted, but so number 10 was Willy's Wonderland. Number 9 was A Quiet Place. Number 8 is Halloween Kills. Dune is my number 7, and number 6 was Nobody. So if you want to see these reviews, they're on my channel somewhere. I got like 787 videos now, so they're in my movies and review playlist. You can see my thoughts and a little bit of a long thing. But so now here we go, the top 5. These movies have cracked box office sales. They've resonated with multiple people. They have strong numbers, and I like them along with a large majority of the populace. That's kind of how I rated this top 5. It was tough, but it's going to be surprising because I got some things people might not have on their list. So, number 5, starting us off in the top 5, my number 5 pick was Free Guy. Free Guy was the Matrix we should have got. Ryan Reynolds does a great job being Ryan Reynolds, but what really sells this movie apart from the rest of the pack is the question of technology and NPCs in games, the look at the corporate structure of video gaming, which is very well documented if you follow video games, the way they treat their workers, the way they want to recycle stuff, the way people steal people's projects and then make something different over top of it. I thought it was a very well done film, and it surprisingly is a lot deeper than the premise of the film. Because when you see the trailer, you're thinking it's just a typical cash grab at these products, but it is a statement on the very essence of cash grabbing, particularly in video gaming, recycling old stuff. And I love the idea of can an NPC be real? Like, is it real? The whole thing, it was surprisingly deep. This movie is way good. It's too good for the kind of premise it is. And I think Ryan Reynolds brings a lot to the role. I also like the woman, I forgot her name. Everybody across the board really brings a lot of heart and soul. I went to see this with my daughter. It was so good, and my daughter gave me a big hug, and she was asking me questions, and it's a feel-good movie. It's what you want to see at the cinema that has a great message. It makes you think, and it's a very well-acted film. Yeah, B.O.B. soured me on Nobody. Seemed old for the character as improper type movie to be sure. Yeah. No, definitely give Nobody a chance. But yeah, Free Guy was great. I really loved it. Let me look that up for you. I'll look up who produced Free Guy, but I want to say that there was definitely a hand by Disney because there was a lot of references to Star Wars and Marvel. So, and I know Deadpool made an appearance there. Uh, so Free Guy's time production, it was under Fox. So Free Guy was a holdover from Fox when Disney purchased them. So here's two amazing things. One, this movie could have never came out, but Disney released it after they brought out Fox. So this was a 20th Century Fox holdover. And because Disney purchased it was why they were able to use the Marvel and the stuff like that. So I think that this movie was very well done. And it was one of probably the last good batch of films that Fox had produced before the acquisition. It was one of the movies that was delayed several times. And I think that the movie doesn't work if you don't have Ryan Reynolds in it or if you don't have some of the access to the properties. Taika Waititi was amazing as an asshole. I don't know if he is in real life, but playing the upstart game designer guy, he played that role so hilarious. He literally I looked at him on screen, I wanted to punch him in the face because he was so obnoxious. And I think that is the sign of some great acting. Fighting the urge to say I saw say about Disney again. Yeah, this is more of a Fox movie, and I think it's a shame because Fox won't get credit. Yeah, I agree. I love Detective Pikachu. I put that on my list last year. So my number 5 goes to Free Guy. I think it deserves it. I think it was it was the first movie that proved that you don't need a franchise to make money. It's an original IP, and I really appreciate that. Now, if they make a sequel, Jason Lee, I don't know how I feel about that. I'll let you know. We'll be back here. That definitely Sherry. That does not make my list. I am very stingy with sequels. I was shocked that I had Halloween, but I enjoyed it so much it made it on here. But I didn't think that movie was necessarily bad. I just didn't. It didn't have the magic that the first one did. I thought it was still pretty entertaining. It just wasn't really on that level for me. So my number 4, and I'm sure you're going to be surprised with this next one. You should not be shocked. My number 4 for this year, Ghostbusters Afterlife. Ghostbusters Afterlife was a shining example of how to respect the fans and resurrect a franchise that another inferior shitty movie almost killed. Ghostbusters Afterlife, literally that end sequence had me almost in tears. It was everybody across the board acted well. And I forget her name, but that little girl who was in that movie, I've never seen a young actress or someone who is that young really put a great performance since Stranger Things. Like, I'm talking first season, not the new one. And ironically, the kid from Stranger Things is in there too. I thought this was a great family film. I saw this twice. I saw it once with my daughter. I really love the message. I love the feeling I had. I was a little hard in my initial review on it, but I gave it a high score. But I had a lot of gripes. But then I saw this with my kid, and it really resonated with me. This gave me that feeling I had when I was a kid watching Ghostbusters 1 and 2 with my father. And I think it's really important for films that they connect with you on a deeper level. The best films should leave you with something. And oh my God, this movie leaves you with so many emotions. And I'm not gonna lie to you, it was difficult where to place this film because uh gosh, these top fives, anyone could have been in these spots. And it's not to say that it's not good because it didn't snatch 3, 2, or 1, but there was just certain movies that because of certain aspects edge it out slightly. But this really, to me, was the start of a trend that Hollywood needs to recognize, and is you can still do nostalgia, but have a good story, have heart, have meaning, have something to have the audience leave the theater with, and that's what we've been missing with these movies. You don't leave with any life lessons or feeling good, or you leave fucking miserable and aggravated because you saw a shitty movie. And I think Ghostbusters Afterlife for me was the pivotal moment where I saw the shift of movies coming out, and I'm hoping that in 2022 we keep at it. It's really where I started to see the crowd and where the trend was going, and it was pretty good. They killed it. They killed it with the last movie, but that was their own fault. I agree. Jason Lee says, I want to see it. Definitely go check it out. I'm not going to spoil it. You could see my review when I'm done, but it had a lot of touching moments. It was very good. And thank you, McKenna Grace. Thank you. McKenna Grace should definitely have her name said. She is fantastic. One of the best child actors I have seen in a long time. And I said it in my review, and I'll say it again. If she ever comes across this channel, probably not. But kudos. There are certain times where an individual holds a movie on their back. And this was one of the times where her performance in particular and how she could deliver that humor that I remember the adults delivering. And this is a kid. And you're telling me that in 2016, these supposed comic legends, this all-female cast, they can't crack a joke unless it's stupid and obnoxious and crude. And this girl comes with deadpan humor and makes me laugh my ass off. So it's not only just respecting the material, but it's delivering your lines and how you say things. I think that this had very classy delivery. And yes, I do agree. Check out the Pine Anal merch. Shalena did my trolling of Zod and Justin. I gave up on it. I'm gonna be nice for the rest of the stream. I appreciate that. But yeah, definitely check out Ghostbusters Afterlife. It was a great film. It definitely deserves to be on this list. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. When it came to like these last 5, I was constantly going back and forth, even on my ride home. I'm like, did I put this too high? But at the end of the day, I'm happy where my choices land. So it was a number 4 for me. But definitely check that out. My number 3. This one's gonna shock everyone because I'm sure there's been a few people who haven't seen this, and this movie was a commercial success, but it was very low key. And it is The Green Knight. The Green Knight is a fucking amazing fantasy tale. It is based on a medieval legend about about one of the not so known knights of the Round Table who kills this mythological figure, which is the Green Knight. It's following their perspective, but the story is very obscured because you don't know what's kind of the fantasy elements in their head that they're just telling and what really happened until you get to the end of the movie. The Green Knight is so beautifully shot and well acted. I can't stress to you, if you have not seen this movie is very high caliber, and I know it's kind of a pretentious movie to have on my list, but it's one of those movies where they go, the shot composition on this is just stunning, just magnificent. I love the way the angle hits the blades of grass. Like, seriously, this is one of those fucking movies, and for good reason. It has a lot of action, it is gory, and it is made on a shoestring budget. Why I put it here is because Very rare do we get a good story that's well shot on such a small budget. I think it was like maybe 50 million, 60 million bucks that they made it for. It was not that big of a budget, and what they did with it was quite amazing. So, yeah, my number 3 is The Black Knight. Go check it out if you haven't seen it. This movie is amazing. I definitely loved it. Super chat. Hey everyone, I'm here till Cobra Kai season 4 drops in an hour and a half, and it's aggravating. Yeah, that's why this is gonna be probably just an hour, because when Cobra Kai drops, I am gonna be up all night watching that. So, anyways, my number 3 is The Green Knight. Definitely go and check it out. No, it's not The Black Knight. I know everybody was thinking like Monty Python and the Holy Grail. No, The Green Knight is a very, very good movie. It kind of flew under the radar because of a lot of other releases, but just to name a few actors in it, you have Deva Patel, Joel Edgerton, Sean Harris, and the rest of them I don't really know. They're more independent actors, but definitely go and check it out. It is a very visceral movie, bit of a mind fuck. It's it's an acquired taste, but it deserves it. The acting is phenomenal across the board, and yeah, it's my highbrow movie. So now we're getting down to the nitty gritty. My number 2 and my number 1 picks. And I'm not gonna lie to you, I flip flop between these two movies. These are the big boys. These are the heavy hitters. And I know when I say these, people are going to go WTF. And I'll give you my reasons when I get to each movie. But my number 2 on this list, the second best movie, is, everybody ready? Everybody ready? Spider-Man No Way Home is my number 2. Oh, gasp. What? Zod doesn't have it as his number 1? What in the world could possibly make number 1 on his list? Spider-Man No Way Home. Do I really need to say anything? It's like over $1 billion. The movie's got heart. It does nostalgia in all the right ways. Why it doesn't make my number 1 is because while I find a lot of right, I can recognize there is some holes in this movie, some things, but it does enough right, and it left me with a good feeling. It's one of my highest rated on my channel besides my next pick. It falls in that perfect score setting. It's one of the few movies I give a perfect score to, but it's just, for me, a superhero movie versus acting is tough to pick. I know there could be emotions and stuff like that. And hey, Cherry, great to see you. What's up? I'm going through my top 10 of 2021. We're getting down to my number 1 pick, but for right now, yeah. So my number 2 is Spider-Man No Way Home. I think it could have been number 1, but my number 1, I will explain why it's my number 1, because I know no one is possibly going to guess what my number 1 pick is unless you really know me. But Spider-Man No Way Home 2 is nostalgia done in all the right possible ways. It's got a lot of heart. It made me like Tom Holland's Spider-Man. It not only fixed stuff in the Tom Holland universe, but it also fixed stuff in older Spider-Man movies. And I respect that. They care enough about the mythology to not only fix the problems of the home trilogy, but also to try to fix the little things within the problems of the original films. And those movies, for being classics and as revered as they are, God forbid you talk bad about them, they had issues. Some of them were corny, but we loved it. It was great. It was passionate filmmaking, and that's what I got from this movie. This movie was a lot of great fun. I had a great time. I've seen it 3 or 4 times. It's a good movie, but it doesn't get that number one spot because it's got an ingredient that I'll get into in a minute here, but there's just something that my number one does better than this one does. And it's not by much, but it is. So, it definitely deserves a high place on this list. It deserves a number 2. It broke a mold that the box office was suffering and all this crap. And to me, it simplifies bringing people together. But my number 1 pick, I don't know if you guys know. So, what is my number 1 pick? My number 1 pick for the best film of 2021, the tour de force of acting that finally gets one of my all-time favorite actors back in the spotlight. My number 1 is Pig. Pig is a fucking phenomenal movie. And look. I know what people are going to say. Oh my God, Nick Cage. Is anyone surprised? But just hear me out. Hear me out. Pig is a story that a lot of people going into it, including myself, thought it was a revenge film. But the story has so many layers in it. Alex Wolff as well does a phenomenal job. Him and Cage have such a great chemistry. It is a movie that has gotten Nick Cage back in Oscar talk, and for good reasons. This movie is one of the best movies I have seen in years. This is like when they were making movies like Full Metal Jacket, Apocalypse Now. Pig is a story not only about somebody finding their missing pig, but it's about the restaurant industry. It's about grief and loss and how people deal with the loss and how people lose somebody and they go and seclude themselves. This movie is a multi-layered, beautifully shot, well-faceted film that is so engaging, and it's a movie you can watch over and over again and get something different out of it each and every time you watch it. Really, to me, and this is just my personal opinion, and I'm shocked as hell, is that this movie represents to me everything movies should be. Great acting, good emotion, great storytelling, but it also makes you think. This film makes you think about life and how you would deal with grief, and if you've gone through that, what it's like. And Nick Cage in this film really epitomizes a broken person who worked in a broken industry, having to go back to that broken industry. And when he gets to the climax of the film, because I don't want to spoil it, but really it is a huge statement on just being broken in every single way that an individual can be broken. And how do you begin to fix yourself from that? I mean, this is some deep philosophical shit that gets you thinking. And it's been years since I've seen a movie that have challenged me as much as this movie had. And I know you're saying, oh my God, but really, this film is a brilliant movie, well acted, challenging, and it really deserves Oscars. If it doesn't win an Oscar, an Academy, any of them, then as we figured, it's fucking rigged. This movie, when you talk about a film that's about pure acting and invoking emotions on screen, if you don't fucking pick this film, fuck the corrupt, crooked ass Academy and fucking awards and Oscars and all these other motherfuckers. You clearly got paid off, and I expect to see Spider-Man somewhere in there too. But yeah, I knew that the Cage would be number 1. I mean, I can't help it. They did a great, phenomenal job. This was a great movie. It deserves to be praised. I'm fucking shocked it's not on any top 10 list, where this is what I go to the movies to see. I want a movie to challenge me. It is a great film, and if you have not checked it out, go out and check out Pig. It is a phenomenal movie. It is not what you think, and you'll be pleasantly surprised. You got to stick with it because you're going to be confused because you're going to think, oh my God, I thought it was about this thing, but it's really not. But if you follow the themes of the movie and what the movie's trying to say, and I appreciate it because I was in the world of cooking. And so I got what the movie was conveying to me. And anybody who's been in that kind of atmosphere, this movie really resonates heavily with. It's a great, well put together film. And it really does, in all seriousness, prove why Nick Cage is a great actor, why he won an Academy Award years ago. It is Nick Cage at his finest, no memes, just pure, great acting Nick Cage. And I could not ask for more. So you're damn right. I put Pig as my number one of 2021. I think it's a great movie. I think if there's a God in this world, he's going to win awards for his performance, and he fucking deserves it. And I think anybody who puts that level of a performance should be considered. And it shouldn't be about buying out votes. It should be about who brought the best material. And if you're talking about well-made films, well shot, well acted, engaging, that this movie should be a contender. If it's not, there's no fucking justice in this world. So let me read the comments here. We got Jenny Godden saying, Zod, I didn't even know a movie called Pig came out, to be honest. I don't know if it's Canada even got that movie. A different Canadian can correct me if I'm wrong. Definitely see if you can find it. Zod, people are coming to your home has to kneel to Nick's pick. Yeah, you damn right. Okay, hashtag you might have sold me. Hashtag if I watch it and it sucks. Hashtag I'm blaming you, Zod. Yeah, definitely give it a pork chop deserves an Oscar. Exactly. I agree. Facts. Well, I want to check out Pig and Dune. Definitely check them out. They're very good movies. We know that it's rigged if they don't nominate Minamata. Yeah. Well, Johnny probably won't be invited because you know how those guys are. And that's a shame because I thought Minamata was a good movie too. Just came back and good thing. Ghostbusters Afterlife was on the list. Very happy about this. And yay, Spider-Man. Yeah. And I'll tell you something, guys. Spider-Man and Pig battled it out. But when I think about which movie I've watched more, I actually brought Pig. It is a phenomenal movie. And when I think about my number one movies, I say acting, cinematography, story, what did I feel, how engaging was it? Pig dealt on so many emotional levels. And I'm a cook. And a lot of the cooking references I got. And the raw emotion that Nicolas Cage brings to the role of a broken man tired of society, living in the middle of fucking nowhere, forced to come back into the world. Even he changed how he talks because he can't handle people. And when I came out of the service, I understand that feeling of being disconnected to society. And maybe it's because of my own personal experiences that this movie really resonates with me. But I think if you've ever been in a bad emotional place, you can understand a lot of the subtlety of this film. It's so beautiful. The cinematography is so beautiful. The way they capture the forest and the density, you can feel the smog. The way when you go into these certain places and it's dingy and fucking dirty, and then you go into these fancy 5-star restaurants and they're fucking clean and pristine, and you've got this man who just came from the fucking woods. And he's like out of place in this fancy fucking 5-star restaurant. This movie has multiple layers to it and really asks you tough questions. It's a surprisingly emotionally charged movie. Alex Wolff, if you guys don't know, is from Hereditary. He played the son. He is fucking phenomenal. Alex Wolff is fucking phenomenal in this movie. The chemistry between Alex Wolff and Nick Cage, because they are primarily the heads of this movie, is fucking fantastic. Alex Wolff plays this young upstart trying to make it. Nick Cage is this broken man who's fucking lost tons in his life and wants his fucking pig back. These two together, representing the old and the new, is such a great contrast that I can't put into you the amount of fucking talent that is on screen. This movie, for the back and forth dialogue alone, I appreciate witty and strong dialogue. This movie's dialogue is fucking fantastic. It is hilarious. It is sad. It is there's parts that'll just get you. There's some lines that I don't even want to say in case you haven't seen this movie that hit me right here when I hear them, because it's just raw. It's a raw film, and I fucking love it. Go check this movie out. It is, yes, Justin, yes. It's the one thing that that I gotta see. You got to see it. 1 to 10 stars on Minamate. For Minamate, I gave an 8. There were just a few things that that didn't quite jive well with me, just the historical facts. But I thought it was a pretty great film. I really enjoyed it. It just didn't make my list because the timing of it coming out, I was kind of already done. But it was definitely a great movie. Super Chat says, if you like Porky so much, Zod, why don't you marry him? Hey, Porky's a sexy pig. Got to check Pig out. Yeah, definitely go check it out. It was a very good film. I actually brought it because I believe in supporting a movie. If I truly liked it, I will go out and buy the movie because I want to support the artist, just like I'll go out and buy Spider-Man. I'm gonna buy a copy of it because I want to support Sony for bringing us a good product. But let me just go give you guys a quick rundown of my top picks. Yeah, he said, Mega Jenny once says, relax, Zod. I'm just busting your pork chops. You got jokes today, Mega Jetty 1. I appreciate it. So here are my top 10. Number 10, Willy's Wonderland. Personal preference. Number 9, A Quiet Place 2. Number 8, Halloween Kills. Number 7, Dune. Number 6, Nobody. Number 5, Free Guy. Number 4, Ghostbusters Afterlife. Number 3, The Green Knight. Number 2, Spider-Man No Way Home. And my number 1 pick for 2021 is Pig. I think, though, with this list, a lot of these movies could have been interchangeable in any spot. These are just movies that I thought really stood out. And I had a lot of honorable mentions, but like I said, off to the side, the movies that I considered that didn't make it, they were just missing something that my top 10 has. And you could pick the films and kind of go which ones miss what. But at the end of the day, my top 10, they are enjoyable. They have a lot of heart. They entertain you. 2021 has been filled with movies that come out as soulish cash grabs, poor writing, lazy writing, bad stories, marketing shams. And yeah, King Richard, I considered. My only gripe with King Richard is I don't think that they need a documentary style film yet. That's just my personal opinion. But Will Smith was very good in that movie. I think he'll be nominated for that. But Nick Cage brings home the bacon. And look, this isn't me picking out of a bias. I will tell it to you. If I had seen this movie and it was a pile of shit, I would have told you. Like Willy's Wonderland, I put at 10 because it's a fun movie. I thoroughly enjoyed it. It's a personal pick, but it's not got that thing. But Pig has that thing. it is masterclass in pure acting. And for me, a top movie grabs you. It's got something to say. And you can watch it several times and get a different thing every time you watch the film. And I think that's important. And Spider-Man No Way Home didn't grab the top spot for me because Spider-Man is very straight to the point. It's about the growth of Peter Parker. It's about him becoming Spider-Man. It's nothing new. It's just done right, and it's done very well. But it's the same story I've seen. Pig is a different story. It's an original property, and it's a very well made. And that's why it makes number one over Spider-Man, because it doesn't lean on anything. It is completely original. It is two people acting in great atmosphere, with a great score, with really beautiful locations. And it's, when you watch it, you'll get what they're talking about. And it's got something to say about greed, about life, about working in somewhere, about fucking losing someone and being alone. I got done with this movie and I looked at my girl and it made me value her, because there's a couple of things in the movie you'll see. And it makes you think about what's important in life. And any movie that speaks to me like that deserves to be slightly higher up. Like Spider-Man, I know what it's going to be. But Pig is original. And that's why it took my number one. It was an original film with an original idea. It had an original message, and it had a voice, and it told a great tale. And once again, I'm not gonna lie, Nick Cage brought that motherfucker up for me like 10 bars, but it was Nick Cage acting. Like, not going crazy, not being goofy, honest to God, 100% ripping his fucking heart out for the camera. If you watch this movie and you don't tell me that is some fine ass acting, it is not overacting, it is not hammed up. It is subtle, understated, tamed down, but you feel his fucking pain. I literally wanted to fucking tear up in some scenes, because it proved that when they put him in a good movie, man, he can hit them beats. And there's some points that are just fucking sad. I just watched the movie. Go out if you haven't fucking seen Pig. Go watch Pig. It's a great fucking movie. It deserves it. I really hope grabs an Oscar nod. If it grabs an Oscar nod, I'm going to tell you right now, I'm going to do a stream. I'm going to be drunk as shit, happy as fuck, going, there is a God. So I was very, very happy about it. It says, you're streaming tomorrow night? Yep, I will be having a New Year's Eve bash. To answer your question, Mr. Zods Phantom Zone, I don't count Spider-Man as Holly Weird. Me either. I don't at all. My doctor says I can't watch it. My cholesterol is high already. So, Terrence, for you who missed it, my top 3 films, just for you, T-Virus. Number 3 was The Green Knight. Number 2 is Spider-Man No Way Home. And my number 1 film is Pig. Those are my top 3. I think that I'm very happy. She loved it. It really got her bacon. Oh God, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, folks. That was a terrible joke. But no, when I think about movies that are original IP, pure acting, embraced by a large populace, and it made its money back. It was a low-key hit, and I really am hoping that Hollywood takes more chances and makes more original movies like this. Nerd Poro, what? Life form. Oh yeah. Hi, how are you? Good to see you here. Yeah, so wow, a movie you haven't seen, T-Virus? Wow. Yeah, definitely check it out. You'll love it. If you like acting, this movie is pure acting. It is yeah, I had Dune as my number 7. To be honest with you, there between Ghostbusters Spider-Man and the other films that I mentioned, there were some great contenders. And where I placed everything is very subjective. Your number one might be different from my number one. Some people might have, a lot of people had Spider-Man as their number one. I just will put an original idea over one that's an established IP. They did it very well. It was very respectful. It was a great film. I've seen it 3 or 4 times, but I don't like putting established franchises as higher up unless they do something really new. For me, I want something original, something that makes me think, something that I could connect with. And the problem is Hollywood is too reliant on things they already have. Bring me something new. Where's the Alien and Terminator, Predator? New. They were new at their time, and that's why I picked the movie that I did for number one, was because it was brand new. Uh, Bond didn't make my top 10, but it's not on my worst movies. It's kind of middle of the road for me. I didn't hate it as much as everyone else. I thought it was enjoyable. Zod, I saw that recent Nick Cage film, Prisoner of Ghostland. I loved it. It almost made it on my list, but then I was like, nah, people are gonna be like, come on, Zod. Come on, you're going. I think it's visually good. My problem with Prisoner of Ghostland is that I think it's a very niche film. I think not a lot of people are gonna like it unless you like Kiyosaki kind of films, the brutal Japanese style kind of films. Uh, it's very artsy kind of a film too. And the problem with those films is that they only resonate with a certain amount of people. And that's really what stopped me, because it's a very niche movie to me. It's very hard to connect with. It's got a very weird plot, and you really got to pay attention. And unfortunately, people's attention spans are terrible compared to what they used to be. Welcome to Good Burger, home of the Good Burger. Can I take your order? Love that. Yeah. Might be a fun to discuss uh, a bad Cage movie someday for fun. Yeah, I definitely would like to do Nicolas Cage worst movies. I might have to dip out soon. I'm going gotta see if what I'm looking for is there yet. I might have to wait an hour. Time zones are weird. Yeah. I'm gonna be dipping out soon too. Cobra Kai premieres. You guys know. Strike first, strike fast, no mercy. Mr. Zod. Um uh yeah, go back through, watch my list. Let me know what you think about my top 10 movies. Do you agree? Do you disagree? What movies would be on your list? I would like to know what movies. Oh yeah, hey, you never forget to sweep the leg. You're right. That was a party foul. But you guys tell me, what movies would you put as your top 10? Do you agree with my picks? Do you think that I was too gracious for certain movies? Do some of the movies you're like, what? Like that wasn't even in my thoughts of a movie that I would have picked. That it's strike first, strike hard, no mercy. I know. I'm tired. I'm waiting. I'm waiting for Cobra Kai. Um, Thank you. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it, Jason Lee Tucker. I really appreciate like 15 people watching my top 10s. I never thought I would have a top 10 that would have people who gave a shit about my opinion. Um, but I think that these movies really spoke to me. I think they're really popular with a wider audience. And I think what makes them my top 10 is not just because I like it, but because they in some way speak to different people in different ways. And to kind of close things out, never let people tell you what to like. Geekocidal tendencies like the new Matrix. I think it's crap. But at the end of the day, something speaks to people in different movies. They like movies for a certain way. And my opinion is not the gospel. And at the end of the day, the best thing to do for this new year is to remember we're all people and we all have our different tastes and things that we like. But if you're giving a review, you should be objective and you should try to see if not just from your point of view, but from other people's point of views. Try to figure out what would resonate with people, and maybe you'll get what the movie's trying to tell you. I've liked a lot of films this year that people have just downright shitted on. And it's because I try to reach a little bit deeper. I recognize it's not a good movie, but I also recognize that there's potential there. And then there's just movies that are just shit. And that's going to be my top 10 worst movies, which there are like 150 movies that I got to sift through because there were so many bad movies this year. So many bad movies that I could put on my list. But I really appreciate you all here. So yeah, I would say everybody watch the movie that you want to watch. I'm just giving you my opinion. Just like with The Matrix. I didn't mind watching it. I was aggravated at some of the choices, but I understand what they were going for. And I would say you may like that. I personally didn't because there were some things it just didn't hit for me. Just like with any show or movie. There's probably some crazy person out there who doesn't like Spider-Man No Way Home. I haven't heard him yet. But there's probably somebody out there. So everybody, thank you very much for watching this channel. Make sure you like, share, subscribe. Happy 2022 to everyone is going to be tonight. So I'm not going to waste it, but we're going to do a little New Year's bash and celebrate the Phantom Zone. Another great year. Thank you to everybody. I am so happy that you guys have joined my channel. Adeline, at Mr. Zods Phantom Zone. Looks like you gained weight. LOL. But love you, dude. Yeah, I gained a little bit. Hold on. Put a little bit of some muscle. I'm trying to work out a bit, and plus I get Cinnabon. That doesn't really. Oh yes, hey Zod, past and year together. Yeah, I'm so happy to have each and every one of you. I really enjoyed doing this. On your worst list should be Cinderella's on there. I'm not going to tell you what spot, but that movie's definitely on there. I got Cinderella was almost a contender for number one, but my number one is it has a very good reason why it's number one. It's egregious in every way possible. But yeah, Cinderella's on my top 10 worst movies. I find it personally an offensive movie, but that's just me. Like, that movie was offensive in so many ways. I'm not going to get into it. That's a stream for another day. But everybody, I gotta go watch Cobra Kai. Thank you very much for tuning in to the channel. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, pass it around. Go back through and see what my top 10 films are. See if you disagree. Grab a pen and paper, write down your own top 10, and leave me comments on what your top 10 movies would be for this 2021. That's secret gravy. Yeah. So everybody, thank you for watching. And as always, remember the only rule here in the Phantom Zone: kneel before Zod.